Our next paragraph is, each day he gets up at 7 o'clock in the morning. He helps the children get ready for school, puts on his coat and tie, and leaves the house with his briefcase. Obviously, he never arrives to his work. Instead, he goes to a cyber cafe. He sits down and begins to look for work online. So, each day, cada día. To get up, the verb is levantarse, like to levitate reminds you of that word, right? And it's used reflexively. So we have levantarse is to get up. So he gets up would be this se for himself, right? So se levanta. Literally, he gets himself up. Se levanta at 7 o'clock in the morning. So it would be a las 7 en la mañana. Now, he helps the children. The verb to help is ayudar. So he helps would be ayuda. Let's put that in first. So ayuda. Now be careful because we have a verb followed by some type of personal people. So we're going to throw in the personal a. The children would be los niños, but it would be a los niños for the reason of the personal a. So ayuda a los niños. Now the verb to get ready, in Spanish what they would say is to prepare. Because to get ready for something or to prepare for something is the same, right? And this is what you will do in Spanish. You will use the to prepare. So the verb then is prepararse. Again, notice that it's reflexive. Like this. Now something interesting happens here because it would actually be ayuda a los niños a prepararse. The reason is because after the verb ayudar, more often than not, you will throw in this a anyway. But we have to realize that this first a, they are for different reasons. This is the personal a because we have a verb followed by people. And the second a is simply because after ayudar, in a form, we tend to throw in a after. There are a group of verbs that do that, and we'll make a lesson to cover those. So this is the reason for the two as here. Now we have prepare themselves, prepararse. For school, this is just a general usage of the word for, so it would be para la escuela, okay? Now, he puts on his coat. So they use the verb poner. So, but the thing is that it would happen reflexively. To put something on, with clothes, things like that, instead of poner, they have ponerse, okay? So it would be se pone. Like this. Se pone, his jacket. They would just say the jacket. They wouldn't bother with his. So el abrigo. This is the word for coat or jacket. Se pone el abrigo. Literally kind of, he puts on himself el abrigo and tie. So, y corbata. Like this is the word for tie. The verb to leave is salir, so y sale. And something tricky here, he leaves de la casa. Just sounds more natural. If you said sale la casa, fine, you would be understood. But if you really want to be correct, then it would be sale de la casa. With his briefcase would be con su maletín. With an accent over the I here. This is briefcase, con su maletín. So we have cada día se levanta a las 7 en la mañana, ayuda a los niños a prepararse para la escuela. Se pone el abrigo, and I would actually get rid of this, change it to that. Se pone el abrigo, la corbata, y sale de la casa con su maletín. Now the word for obviously is obviamente. So we have obviamente, obviously, he never arrives to his work. So, nunca. The verb to arrive is llegar. So we have llega. He never arrives. Obviamente, nunca llega a su trabajo. The word for instead, what they would say in Spanish is in its place. En su lugar. Lugar is place. So we have literally in its place. That's how they say instead. He goes to a cyber cafe. So va a un. The word would then be cybercafé. It's like cyber, all in one word with an accent there. En su lugar va a un cybercafé. Now this next one, he sits down, is important. The verb to sit down would be sentarse. So what we get is se sienta for he sits himself down. But there's a very delicate difference between sentarse and sentirse, because we say se siente for he feels, but se sienta for he sits down. The only difference is that one is an AR verb, sentarse, that is to sit down, and the other one is sentirse, which is to feel. Okay, so sentarse, sit down, sentirse, to feel, and both of them split. So instead of getting senta, right, it splits into sienta. This is how we get se sienta. He sits himself down and begins to look for work online. Okay, so to begin or to start is empezar. So y empieza. Here's another verb that splits like this. You can see how it splits into the IE, splits into the IE. You'll get to know the verbs that do that quite well, because they're actually very common in Spanish. You come across it all the time with these verbs splitting into this IE. Y empieza. Now, I'm glad this happened here, because this is a good example. I put in a because the verb empezar belongs to that group that I mentioned, where it tends to throw in an a after you use the verb in any tense. So here we have ayudar with the a here, but it gets like kind of cloaked or disguised by the fact that we have the personal a before it. So in general, we have ayudar, and then after using that, you'll throw in an a, and empezar is another verb that belongs to that group. So this is why I throw in the a here. Okay, so se sienta y empieza. To look for is buscar. This is to look for. The word for is contained within the verb, so you do not need to worry about por or para to translate the word for in English. It's already contained in the verb. Buscar means to look for. And then we have work would be trabajo, and then online, en línea. And we would put an accent over the I like that. Okay, so we have cada día se levanta a las 7 en la mañana. Ayuda a los niños a prepararse para la escuela. Se pone el abrigo, la corbata y sale de la casa con su maletín. Obviamente nunca llega a su trabajo. En su lugar va a un cibercafé. Se sienta y empieza a buscar trabajo en línea.